Welcome back, my dear students. We are going to analyze the public examination first year English question paper. But I reconsider, why should I deprive her of the joy this sacrifice would give her? All that this shilling could have given her she was foregoing. For the love of her brother, the joy of doing it was beyond all praise. The grief in her heart would be eased a little. What good would it do to deprive her of it? I picked up the shilling. Maggie, I said, I shall use the shilling to buy flowers and put them on your brother's grave. The passage is taken from The Price of Flowers. Which word in the passage indicates the meaning to deprive of? Why did the narrator decide to take the shilling to buy flowers and to put them on the grave of Maggie's brother Frank? Because the one shilling that Maggie earned by her hard work as a token of her love towards her brother. The joy of doing it was beyond all, all praise. Why? Because she dedicated her hard earned money in order to show her love towards her brother. Read the following passage from the poem and answer the questions that follow. If thou can dream and not make dream dreams your master, if you think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with the triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you have spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap of fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stood and build them up with the worn out tools. So question 5 is mainly talking about the poem If, rhetorically. What was according to the poet the two impostors? Triumph and disaster. Triumph and disaster. Then, what do knaves represent? Knaves represent dishonesty and unscrupulousness. Dishonesty and unscrupulousness. Then, what is the message conveyed in the above lines? Treat the ups and downs of life equally. Be a good citizen. Identify the speaker of speech in the phrase triumph and disaster, that is oxymoron. Next, what is the theme of the story? His first flight, self-confidence, be competent to face the challenges of life, be brave, self-reliance, support from family and members. Do you agree with the AJ Cron's remark the animals were all outside? Why? Give it two reasons. Yes, there are people outside to blame. Good things happened in the ship Rana Genchi. The ship Rana Genchi, especially by Hassan and Dr. A.J. Cronin. But the people who did not contract with the disease are safe. They are safe. Next question. Sleep is a fascinating biological process. Sleep is an efficient way to service the brain to make sure it would work well and long enough. Give two suggestions for a good sleep. Take your supper 2 hours before the or before going to sleep. Listen to music and pray before going to sleep. These are the two suggestions. Then, how does the father in the story, conceptual fruit, stand out as different from the other members of the family? The father is very supportive, doesn't care the indifference of other family members to make Greta, the differently abled daughter, to be competent. Next, grammar pot. One of the sheep has or has a bell on its neck. The teacher together with the student has come. Has come. Neither the teacher nor the students have gone for a walk. If you invite her, she will come. While planning a trip, we have to consider many things. What are the two do's and the two don'ts relating to this? Less luggage, more comfort. Take some luggage and make your trip very comfortable. Take a first aid box. Take an umbrella. Don't take inflammable things. Next question. If thou art worn and hard beset with sorrows that thou wouldst forget, if thou wouldst read a lesson and will keep thy heart from fainting and thy soul from sleep, go to the woods and hills, no tears dim the sweet look that the nature wears. That means if you are bored and fed up with the problems of life, which the reading of the books cannot solve, go to the nature, enjoy the beauty of nature, your problems will be solved. The next one, the police came only after the thief had escaped. Last year, I walked back home every evening. He usually wears pants, but now he wears a dhoti. Look, the snow falls. The snow falls. Next one, briefly describe the whole heroic act of the crew of the Titanic at the time of the shipwreck. Captain Smith and other crew members showed their meticulous deed without considering their lives, priority to the lives of children and women's life. Your school is conducting a debate on physical education, which is mandatory, compulsory for the higher secondary students. If you are to speak for the topic, what points will you put forward? Write 4 arguments. That is all. Physical education relieves their stress and tension. Memory power will be sharpened. Quick learning, healthy body, healthy learning. Esther Dyson in the cyberspace says that there is something in the modern psyche that allows new frontiers, a liking to make rules instead of following them. Do you agree with this statement? Express your views in 4 sentences. That is all. Yes, we want freedom. We don't want ruled by and be obeyed by others. We want our rules to govern others. We want to master ourselves. We don't want slaves to others. Then another, Hassan had no fondness for speech, but despite the silence of our long night vigils, I gathered some fragments of his history. Attempts a brief character sketch of Hassan. Selfless service, relentless work hard, careless of his life, and save the lives of others. No greed for money, honor, or status. Next, here is a profile. Rabindranath Tagore was born on 7th May 1861, and he is a great poet, not only a poet, writer, playwright, composer, philosopher, social reformer and painter, and he was the poet of Bengal. Bard means poet. Nobel Prize in Literature in the year 1913. Geetanjali, Gora, Red, Orcanders, Post Office, Chitra, and Chandalika, Nadar Puja, Muktadhara, and pen name got Banu Simcha, and died in on 7th of August 1941. Like that, develop into small paragraphs and write a profile. Now, the story Gooseberries tell us how Nikolai Ivanich attains his goal and his long cherished dream. If you were a reporter, how would you cover the success story of Nikolai? Write a newspaper report giving it a suitable title. So, dream cherished. Lives meagerly, saves up money, cherishes his dream of buying an estate in the countryside with the gooseberry bushes. Write down that summary of that story. Then 23. Yamo Flaherty, his first flight, makes the reader think about the kind of support given by parents to make their children self-reliant and self-confident. After reading the story, you decided to communicate your feelings to your friend abroad. Write an email, email model, write the summary of the story and send it to your friend. As a newspaper reporter, you are present at the venue to report to the trip of the hot air balloon. Leola prepare a report of the takeoff, the first taking of the story. Leola, just you write down, you will get the balloon air filling and starting their journey, connecting this one water basket there, like that. The boy who raised the question in I Will Fly discovers a new path in his life after his encounter, meeting with the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He writes a letter to his friend, describing the impact of Kalam's words on him and the changes that came over his character. Draft the letter of the boy. So, friendly letter to his friend about hearing or meeting APJ Abdul Kalam and hearing his speech. What is the change that came to him? That you can just describe in this friendly letter. Next question 20, 26, that is 8 marks question. Write any two. Elaborate on the views of Nehru about Mahatma Gandhi in the lesson and then Gandhi came. The importance of the arrival of Mahatma Gandhi in the political arena of India. What are the changes that has come? That you write all the important points. Then a travel, in fact, an eye opener. It opens up new, refreshing snapshots before us and often helps us change our philosophy of life. Write a travel essay describing the travel experience you had recently. You see, that is a very important one. So it is your travel experience, not anybody. നിങ്ങൾ യാത്ര ചെയ്ത നിങ്ങളുടെ യാത്രാ അനുഭവം അത് കണ്ണുതുറപ്പിക്കുന്ന ഒരു ഇതായിരുന്നു. അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് വിശദീകരിക്കുക, അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് എഴുതുക. Okay, about the historical importance, what are the traveling facilities, all these you can write. Last one is prepare a critical appreciation of the poem. Prepare a critical appreciation of the poem. That is The Sands of Thee, written by Charles Kingsley. So remember, summary of the poem, theme, poetic devices and style, evolution of the thought, the perspective, your own opinion about this poem, your own opinion about this poem. You see here by Charles Kingsley. Oh Mary, go and call the cattle home, and call the cattle home, and call the cattle home. So these are the reference, repeated lines in the poem. And write about this. So a shepherd who has to call all the cattle home by the time she met with a thunderstorm. Met with a thunderstorm. Finally, you see here home, home, home. A, B, and D, B. These are the rhyming scheme, rhyming words, and about that, the western tide crept up along the sand and over the sand and round the sand. As fast as I could see, the rolling mist came down and bit the land, and it never came, and never home came she. She did not come home. A storm that has come. She did not come with the cattle to the home. They roved the storm, and the waves roved her in across the rolling foam, the cruel crawling foam, the cruel hungry foam, to her grave beside the sea. But still the boatman hear the call the cattle home across the sand of day. Like that rhyming scheme, rhyming words, and refrain your own idea about the poem. Thank you. Thank you very much.